If you've watched me for a long time, you know I've been through many different build orders. From 22 population archery ranges to 20 pop to 19 pop archery ranges. But I think now I've finally perfected the build. Maybe not perfected, but I've gotten it to a point where I think I can advance a lot of elo now. So this build's very simple, right? I'm going to go until 9 population onto food. I'll put this all in the description. I'll put my build. 9 population onto food. Then number 10 is going to get the first boar. The next 3 villagers are going to go to wood. Then I'm going to send another for the other boar. And then after that, I'll send to food until 16 population. At 16 pop, I'll send one to build a mining camp on our gold. At 17 pop, I'll send one more to wood. And at 18 pop, I'll send one more to the mining camp. At that point, I should be able to click up at 6 minutes 26 seconds to Feudal Age. From there, I'm going to send all my villagers except for 6 onto wood. And then actually one of those is going to go to gold. So I'll have 3 on gold, the rest on wood, 6 on food on my way up to Feudal. I'll build a barracks at the front of my base on the way up. And then as soon as I hit Feudal, I'm going to place an archery range and build another house. Also, you'll want to build another house on the way up to Feudal because you'll be at 19. You'll need another house. I like to build that house by the gold. So I actually, let's go through. So I build my first 2 houses here, right? Just like you normally would. I like to stick them right outside the range, but it doesn't matter too much. Then I'll build a house by the lumber camp, which you'll see in a second here. So I'll build one by the lumber camp. It helps wall up, makes it a bit easier. And I'll do the same with gold when I place another house. So one by the gold, which sort of help as walls. So yeah, this guy here is coming to place a house, exactly. That one seems a little too far, so we're going to wall up here. Actually, we want him kind of close. And then after, like I said, we'll have 3 to wood. Then we'll send 1 to this other boar. Also, it's good to grab the boar that's probably more exposed than this one. It just prevents you from being lamed a little bit better. Another thing I learned from Survivalist, it's not a good spot to show right here. But if you have, say, everybody on a deer, what you'll want to do to get the next deer is select all your villagers that are on the deer, and then just click on the deer that's being eaten. And what that will do is your deer will come walk right on top of the other deer that's being eaten. And when your villagers finish harvesting that deer, they'll pick it up and then start harvesting that next deer. So you lose very little idle time, right, with your villagers. Also, in this build, I'm going to be pushing 3 deer. 1, 2, 3. I push all 3 of them. That just gives me a bit more wood before I have to place on my berries. And I only place my mill on my berries once I'm in Feudal and when I'm nearly out of sheep. I'll send 3 villagers to build that mill. Okay, so here we go. 16 population. Send 1 to the mining camp, so now I'm at 17. I'll send 1 more to the trees. Typically 2 on each side. Keeps it simple, right? And then they can protect each other if there's any sort of raiding that happens. Better to have 2 villagers than 1 just alone. And then this final villager is going to come to gold. The ideal is you're clicking Feudal at 6 minutes 26 seconds. If not a little bit faster than that, but it's fine if you lose a couple seconds. If you're even faster, great. Okay, 6:21. Boom, 6:24. I click up. Yeah, that's all because of this trick Survivalist showed me, right? Where you just take your sheep and you put it underneath. I wonder if I'll do that here. But yeah, now I'm going to go all but 6 to wood. I'm missing this one right here. I'm going to realize in a second that 1 more has to go to wood. And then 1 to gold, actually, is where I should send this guy. I'll realize in a second, I'm sure. Looks like, there we go, I've got 3 on gold now. 6 food, so 9, 6, 3 on the way up to Feudal is what we want. 9 on wood, 6 on food, 3 on gold. And then if you're going to build anything, you take it from one of the wood villagers, right? One of the ones on wood. You take that guy and use it to build. We want to keep our food and gold maximized here. So, okay, the magic number now. When we get to Feudal, we want 7 on food. We're going to take care of that first. So the first villager we train from the town center is going to come to food. All right, then we want 12 on wood. So the next 3 are going to come to wood. And then we want 7 on gold. And this is the advantage you get as Mayans. right? You only need 7 on gold for double range production. Right, you don't need 8. I see a lot of Mayans players putting 8. You don't need that. You only need 7. And that'll give you a 2 villager advantage over other archer civs. Right, because we start with an extra villager, and then we also only need to send 7 to gold for our double archery range. So what's going to happen here now? I'm going to finish building this archery range. One of these villagers should come to wood. The other should build a house. Actually, I'm going to build the house over here, though, because I see this little gap, so we're going to do that. But normally, if you have a villager here, you'll just keep walling along the front. You'll build the archery range, then the house, then the archery range, once you have the wood for it. Now, we're going to train up 3 archers, right? Actually, we want non-stop archer production, but we're going to train up 3 and a spear. And as soon as you've hit Feudal, of course, you want to hit double bid axe. So click that as well, very first thing. So spear, 2 archers. And then we're going to send them forward once we have that. My opponent is Cumans, though. I see that, so I'm actually going to go for an extra spear here. And if you're playing a cav civ, it's good to add another spear in. Right? Having 1 spear versus 2 could be the difference between beating their scouts when they send them out or losing to them. Alright, so we're going to have 3 in just a second here. Yep, there we go. 12 on wood. Now my next one's going to come to gold. That's what we're going to do. Okay, his scout's coming. There, so we got 2 spears. And we're going to continue to scout. Obviously, you can't do everything. It's hard to micro it all. If you don't micro everything, that's fine. But you want to scout everything, see what the opponent's base looks like, where you can hit, where are the weak points, where are the pressure points. Okay, so here I am. I'm sending 3 to build a mill. Once again, I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm going to idle the TC. I'm only 1350 at the moment. This is my elo. But yeah, this village is going to have its work cut out, right? House, archery range, house, and then finish walling up. And then after you hit 12, 7, and 7, 12 on wood, 7 on food, 7 on gold, all the villagers you make from then on are going to place farms. And what that's going to do is you'll get to castle age as fast as you possibly can while doing double range archers. And then, of course, you'll try to do damage. There's a lot to micro. Right, there's a lot to manage. So if you can't manage it all, that's fine. Don't feel bad. Most important is your eco, right? Like if this should not be happening. I shouldn't have these villagers running around chopping where they shouldn't be. But sometimes you just can't do it all. That's totally fine. I mean, I have a hole here. There's lots of mistakes. I placed this farm wrong, but luckily I corrected it. Okay, and now I see we're chopping here. Blue is chopping here. So this is a good spot to stick my archers. Do some damage, harass my opponent. That's what you want to do. You want to harass. You want to feel that lust for killing their enemies' villagers. That's what you want to do. I lack fletching right now, but I have built a blacksmith. Another thing to keep in mind is once you've got the 2 ranges, and once you've got the wood for it, you want to place that blacksmith. The nice thing about having 12 on wood, and of course you'll take away from the choppers to build other things. The nice thing about 12 on wood is it's superfluous, right? You have extra wood income. You don't need that much on wood to do continuous archery archers. But it's nice to have that extra wood, right? So you can keep building houses, keep building walls. And my opponent's doing a good job here at he's made some skirms. I would have liked to seen more scouts for my opponent, actually. That's probably what should have been done. Now, one thing I need to be better at is placing a second lumber camp. I tend to leave a bunch on like just 1 lumber camp, and that's fine, I think. Okay, also another good thing to note, don't send your archers in. This is a mistake by me. Don't trickle your archers. You want to build up an army, send it forward as a group. That way you can't get picked off by the enemy scouts if there are any roaming around. And look at this. Obviously my opponent's Cumans, so he's got the extra TCs. But some idle TC from him. This is a mistake as well. Lots of mistakes here. I don't finish this up, that's another mistake. But I'm harassing well. And then these here, I'm just going to send them on both sides. Keep it busy for my opponent, right? I want some here, and I hope I get some vill kills here. If I micro a little better, I should get tons of kills. But my micro has some mistakes. 1 vill kill. That'll match us even from that one I lost over here. I also trickling skirms, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to trickle your army at all. Yeah, don't do that. Now, like I said, every next vill is just going to place a farm. I've messed it up here, and I've got too many on gold, and we see that kind of reflects here, right? I've got 5 in queue. I don't need that many. I could have sent this one maybe to wood or something instead, actually, just make sure I get all those farms up. But yeah, if you have an extra vill you're not sure what to do with, make it 13 on wood. I think that's good. Also, I should have checked. I did not click to see whether my opponent had fletching, but it didn't matter too much since my opponent was sort of shying away with these archers. Okay, good. We're just going to keep harassing, keep walking around the base with the archers. You might catch some, just like this villager here, right? Like, where's he going? He's sending a sneak villager. Not good, not good. I'm going to catch that now. And here we go, 3 eco kills. Doesn't matter too much because my opponent is Cumans. But, you know, my opponent's going full boom with Cumans, right? Just like you would expect. However, you know, every vill kill, even if your opponent's got extra TCs, that's, you know, 50 food your opponent spent on... Uh-oh. We're gonna get killed by some scrims here. Let's walk away. Every vill kill is 50 food, right? So your opponent might go extra on food. I've been working my my job too much, right? Your opponent might, you know, lose a bunch on... Uh-oh. Do I catch some here? I hope I catch some. Look at that, 8 kills. And that's the power of just constantly making archers. You just want to be churning them out, make army in your base, send them out. Send them out as a mess. And the problem, right, my opponent has been trickle sending skirms because he's anxious to defend himself. But the problem is, with such a small amount of skirms, you're not going to get actual kills on my archers. So yeah, I'm just living rent-free in his base now. Just killing villagers. And here you can see I've just been going everything onto food. Everybody's making a farm. And that extra villager is adding quite a lot of gold that we don't need. So it slows down my castle time a bit. I think I may not have needed it. Also, if you do just stick 7 on gold, you can get the gold mining upgrade. I think I must have gotten it already. Capture Age doesn't show that, I think, whether you've gotten it. But I like to grab that when you've got enough resources. I get that before horse collar even, just because as Mayans you don't need horse collar as much with the 15% longer lasting farms. So it's kind of like you got a bit of horse collar already, right? Oh, and I'm just picking off all of these skirms. A little bit of micro here. I look back and, you know, if you micro away the skirms, you can get a bunch of kills. This is the problem with skirms, right? I mean, when your opponents go all scouts, I feel like it's a little bit more powerful, actually. Because they, by default, have 2 pierce armor. Skirms have plenty too, but they have less health, of course. And then they attack slower. Right? And then they're also wood intensive. So, advantages and disadvantages to both. But because skirms have slower attack, you technically can beat them with archers, no problem. Right? I mean, if you go with cavalry, or like light cav, you need a pretty good mass to beat spears. But I think with skirms, with their slower attack, you can micro away, no problem. Right? Like this, I don't think I'm taking too many hits. I'm not eating too much. And there you go. You make a big army, you send it forward. Put it on either side of their base, just keep harassing. Keep in mind, though, if you are playing a cav civ, don't forget to put some spears in there. Another thing I like to do, as soon as I click up to castle, I take 5 villagers, send them onto stone. Obviously, we got a problem here. This one's walking around. And that'll just speed up the time you can get your castle. And I like to drop 2 TCs right away, especially if I've got such an advantage. And with this amount of, you know, units on resources, you should be able to get crossbow, bodkin, drop 2 TCs, no problem. Especially because we've added so many farms, we should have the food for both of those. Somehow my opponent's still got a good amount of villagers, right? Lots and lots of idle TC from him. But that's expected when you're getting, you know, archers all over your base. Small walls. I like the small wall. As you can see, I've just built my wall sort of around my town center. And then I walled to the edge of the map at those places. Okay, with micro, Crossbows should beat skirmishers, no problem. It's elite skirmishers that are the problem, right? I've got 7 range, he's got 5. I've got 2 extra range on him. But he was smart. I went in, and then he attacked, right? That was wise of him. Trying to catch it so I can't use that range as an advantage. But if you've got even 1 range advantage over skirmishers, you technically should be able to beat them every time. So, for example, if you're playing against Persians or another civ that does not have Bracer, you can beat their skirms every time if you just micro a lot, right? But Persians, of course, don't typically want to go for skirmishers to counter archers anyway. Though their Savar have 8 pierce armor fully upgraded, which, you know, if you have fully upgraded Arbalest, you're only doing 2 damage. Or if you're using plumed archers, you're only doing 1 damage apiece. Okay, lots of pressure, so I'm going to throw down a siege workshop because I know I've got the advantage. I like, you've got lots of options when you hit castle, right? You could buy some stone and drop a castle. You could send more to stone and try to get there faster. You could make a monastery and then just collect all the relics to try to boom it out even more. Drop a few more ranges, you know, and just really ramp up the pressure. Siege workshop. I haven't gotten ballistics yet either. It's like you've got so many options. And you've just got to be adaptable, you know? What's really going to let me win the game here? These archers, I was fine just attacking the market because, you know, markets are not cheap to replace. It's 175 wood, so if I take it out, that's fine as well. Another mistake I make is I get housed a lot. You're going to get housed very quickly if you are going constant range production, right? You'll have your TCs making units, your archery ranges making villagers, and very quickly you see that population balloon up, right? So just to reiterate, you've got lots of advantages as Mayans, right? Cheaper archers, so you can really spam them, and you have the extra villager, so you can spam that as well. And you also put fewer on gold, giving you other resources faster. Of course, you're going to want more on gold at some point, because you're going to have a more intensive gold comp. And if your opponent's going heavy archers too, don't be afraid to switch to eagles, right? Get a mass of, you know, 6, 7, 8 eagles with their 5 pierce armor and castle age. You can take on just about any number of crossbows. Okay, we're trying to end the game now. We're dropping a castle on my opponent. Don't be afraid of forward TCs either, right? Like, I know this isn't open, but if you just stick your TCs here on these resources, your villagers should be protected. If it becomes a problem, it would force your opponent to go, you know, into siege or drop a castle of their own, which, you know, if it's a fair, even match at that point, you can beat it still. Bunch of mistakes by me here, right? Losing the mangonel. I was playing and I saw the shot coming in. I was watching here and I was like, well, not much I can do about that. But that's okay. That's alright. Sometimes those things happen. As, I don't remember who it was said. I believe Nelson Mandela. I never lose. I only win or I learn. And I've done a lot of learning to get to this level. So, you know, military, you'll just get a huge army. You'll get tons of kills with archers. And you just want to harass those villagers more than anything. You want to camp their wood lines. You know, I was walking around this wood line. I was setting my archers here. I was setting my archers here. My opponent can't really get wood, right? If we look at economy, 4,000 wood only, because I harassed the wood so much. Food, he can get gold. I think I also harassed the gold, right? Where's his gold? Oh, here. Actually, I didn't harass it so much. But I definitely had more on gold. He was going heavy skirm, so he's trying to go light on the gold. Yeah, so this is a demonstration of my 19 population archers. Yeah, I'll put the build in the comments. I just barely revised it to be completely accurate to what I did in this match. And there's also a couple other notes, like important things to know, such as, you know, 8 plumed archers with bodkin can one-shot a villager. Very important if you're raiding. You want to train up 8 plumed archers, and you can get maximum villager kills if you catch them lacking, right? Say he runs out here with a bunch of villagers, 8 plumes, and I take them all out. Yeah, so hopefully this taught you how to use this build. Give it a couple practices in skirmish if you're looking to try it. But yeah, couple things to note. 12 on wood, 7 on food, 7 on gold and feudal. And then you just keep adding farms. Get a blacksmith and fletching as soon as you can. And then your crossbows never stop coming. Add spears if you need. When I click up to castle, I send 5 to stone. That'll give me plenty of extra stone. Especially as Mayans, you can make stone walls. Do not be afraid of making stone walls as Mayans. I didn't have to do it this game because my opponent didn't raid me. I was lucky, but I like to drop stone walls. They're so cheap as Mayans, and if you get on stone quickly, it can, really save some headache from some later raids. And that's sort of one of the problems archer civs have, right? They're not super mobile. Especially Mayans, one of the least mobile civs in the game. Probably along with like Dravidians or possibly Burmese. Your units are just slow. I mean, you're not going mainly eagles. You're going to aim for archers most of the time, so they're going to be slower. Yeah, so I like stone walls. Don't be afraid to do that. Yeah, if you've got any questions about this build, please let me know in the comments. Hopefully you can go out and play some games with the Mayans and start crushing people. Mayans are the best civ, and I love them a ton. Thank you for watching.